Hi there, it's Tracy here from the Papercraft Studio. Thank you for joining me today. Today I want to show you how I made my birds and branches peekaboo card. So you can see here, open up, and then this concertina's out, and this little background is behind the card here. So you can see I've also used some embossing on the card just to give it some detail. So the dies that I've used are the birds and more, and I've used one of these little detailed birds here. I've used this one and this edge and the branch. You can also get a coordinating stamp set, but as this is one of my kits, my classes by post, I can't include stamped images, so that's why I've just used the dies here. I've also used the Meadow Moments embossing folders, and you actually get two. So you get one with the butterflies and the leaves, and then I've used this one here, which is just the kind of leaves and some little dots. That's my favourite, and I've used it quite a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the supplies you need to make this. So you need a half a piece of A4 cardstock. This is thick basic white, so obviously scored in the middle here. You need a piece of Sahara sand cardstock, and this measures 7 7/8 by 5 5/8. And then you need various bits I'll show you as we go along, some early espresso cardstock, but other than that it's mainly basic white for the bird, and then I've just coloured, and then I'll show you how I've coloured this circle as well. So a little bit of scoring on this Sahara sand piece first. I'll just bring in my Simply Scored scoreboard. So with the long side at the top, we are going to score this at 2 inches and at 4 inches. That's it, scoring done. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to, with the wider piece on the left here, I'm going to fold this over, give it a little burnish, and then we're going to fold this piece back on itself. And don't worry, it's not meant to be, you'll see it's not perfectly half, and that's so that it sits nicely inside the card. So like I say, bigger piece on this side, fold the whole thing over, and then this piece folds back on itself, and that's how you get that little kind of concertina opening. So we can go ahead and stick this in the card. So just centralize that. We're going to pop some Tombow on the back of the big piece here, liquid glue. Took me ages to design this card. I had a design in mind, and often what happens is when you go to make it, it doesn't turn out quite how you thought. I was just going to put lovely blue sky behind here. It just didn't look right, and so I decided to go for the kind of sunset instead, and then I was really happy with it. So you can see that's going to fold over nicely there. What we're going to do with this piece is, and if you have this in your kit, this will have been done for you. You can do it before you stick this piece in if you want to. So I'm just going to bring in my big shot, but basically what we're going to do first is cut this edge piece here, and then after we've done that, we're going to cut the circle here. So these are both in the birds and more dies. So let me just bring that in. I called it a big shot. You know what it's called these days, Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So if I try and do it sideways, you'll see a bit better how I'm lining this up. So this front piece of your card is going to go on here, and then what I found was best, if you have some washi tape or a post-it to keep this in place, because you want this to be nice and straight. So we want it as close to the edge as we can, but still wanting it to, you know, for the leaves to be in shot. We don't want them to go over. And then I'm just going to, sorry to have my hands all over that, pin that in place there. I'm just going to run that edge through the machine. And all I'm going to do is run it, oops, sliding on my grid, back and forth just there, because that's all we need. So take that piece off, gently peel this away, and these pieces will come away, this edge piece, and then you can poke out all these little extra pieces. I'll do that in a second. And then what you want to do is line up, so you can see we've got our patterned edge here. I've just put this, it's not quite central actually on my card. I wanted a little bit more at the bottom so I could put the branch on, but I've kind of centralized it across there. And again, you could pin it in place with some washi or a post-it. I'm hoping I can just do it without. And again, this just goes through. Just going to pull out that end there. Sorry for the wobbly table now. Bring it back. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then this peels off gently. And just around these edges here, you just need to be careful because there's some little branches there at the end that you just need to be careful that you don't pull away. And then once we're at this stage, we're going to take out this layer here, level 2, and we're going to emboss. So let's find my embossing folder. And all I did with this one is put it on this corner, on this fold here. So line it up with the fold, and then again just pop through, just make sure that's lined up, pop through. So let's get rid of this a second. And there we have it. So this is now embossed and cut beautifully. So we're just going to go ahead and poke out these extra pieces here that we don't want to be left on our card. That one looks a bit delicate. There we go. Okay, and then also if there's any pieces in here, just poke out any extra bits. But I just really liked, that's just how pretty is that with the embossing and the cut images as well. So then when this folds over, you can just see this down the edge here, this Sahara sand, and I thought that looked really pretty. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I coloured the centre circle. So I've used the biggest circle here from the Layering Circles framelits, or I mean they're dies now, but so the biggest one here I've used just to cut a basic white circle, and I'm using the blending brushes to colour this in. Now it's handy if you've got a piece of scrap paper to do this on so that you're not messing up your surface. So the colours I'm using for my sunset, let's bring the card back in here, is Flirty Flamingo, Pale Papaya, doesn't really look like Pale Papaya on the camera, and So Saffron. Okay, so I'm going to start with Flirty Flamingo. Oh, that was a nasty squeak. So at the bottom here, you see Flirty Flamingo, Pale Papaya, So Saffron. So with the blending brushes, these are amazing. So you get 3 in a pack. I think they're $10.75, I think. I'll check that. So you can ink it up as much as you want on here, but I always tap off a couple of times and then start off of the page. So I just do some circular motions here so that I don't get full on kind of colour straight away, and I just build up the colour that I want. The danger is, let me find a scrap of cardstock here. If you go straight onto, so if I didn't tap it off, you can kind of get a big splodge like that. Okay, so I tend to tap it off, and then also even if you went straight on the card, sometimes you get more than you want, so tap it off and then come on gradually, and then you'll, you know, be happier, I'm sure, with the result. So that's my tip there. And then I'm going to move on to Pale Papaya. Okay, so again, tap off, then come in from the edge, and you can build up the colour and just blend it together. You you can always go back and add more. So go slowly to start with, and then add more in if you want to. I'm going to go a little bit higher with that. And then finally, So Saffron. Spin it around. Oops. And there we have it. Ta-da! It's your little sunset. And if you want to, you can go back in and blend it a bit more. But those are the colours that I use. And just while I've got this sheet out, I cut one of the birds out. And I didn't want it in a bold colour, but I did want some colour on there. So I'm just going to get rid of these little cutouts here. And then what I've done in Coastal Cabana, I've just added some colour. So I added more to kind of the head and this part of the body, and then I went a bit more gently down here. So I probably need to re-ink my Coastal Cabana soon. Actually, it's one of my favourite colours, so I need to keep going back to the pad a bit more. And then slightly less on the tail, just to give him that little bit of colour. Okay, so I can get rid of that piece now. And then I'll show you how to add in that circle that we've just coloured. It's going to pop under there, and that gives you a little sunset. And then, so what I would do with the colours, you know, you want the pink at the bottom, and then working up, flip it over here and see where you want it on the edge. And then obviously what you want to do when this is folded over, it's only going to attach to this edge here. It kind of looks like it should be this one, but it's not. It's this left hand side. So when this folds over, you want this piece here to attach to this side. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on that side, which I think I knocked on the floor a second ago. Yep. So pin it in place. Am I still in shot? Yeah, a little bit of Tombow on this side. Don't go too far over. And then have this folded shut, and you're going to flip it over onto there. And that way you're going to get your circle where you want it to be. So when you then turn it over, it's in the middle of your little aperture there. Okay. And then the bird, oh, actually, let's just add the branch first, I think. So the branch, I've gone ahead and cut in early espresso, and I just really liked how, let's bring this one back in. I really liked the contrast against the background here. So, and I've just stuck it over the top of these little branches here. So you can have a little play around, see where you want to position your bird. So I had him just coming down there. Obviously you still want it to fit in an envelope, so have a little think about that. And then you can't attach it everywhere, because obviously when you open it up, you don't want it attached to this piece. So you just need to pick out some leaves and this bit here probably that you can attach it to. You don't want to do all this work and then find actually that you've stuck it to this piece which is opening. So just flip this back a little bit of Tombow on these, oops, little leaves here. Again, if you're not confident, actually I'm going to put some on that one as well, because I know that one is fine. If you're not confident, just to put a little bit of Tombow on, then, you know, use a scrap piece of paper and just put a blob onto one side, and then, you know, just dip in. And then I know that actually this piece here obviously is going to be underneath as well, so I can add some glue here. Ooh, see, don't put too much on like that, because we don't want it splurging out. Okay, so love how that goes up against the sunset. And then with the bird, again, you can choose where you put him. You could put him over this side, but I quite liked him there. So again, just notice where you can put your little dots of glue so that you're not going to get him stuck to the sunset. And pop him on the branch. Oh, one thing I did actually, sorry, just before he sticks down, I didn't like him without an eye behind. So what I did, I've got a crocodile, and you could just cut out a piece of early espresso cardstock. I'm going to fish some out of my bin here. You can see I've cut all these from my kit. I'm just going to cut a little circle here. Oh, is it going to come up? Where did it go? It's still in here. And again, you will have one in your kit, so it's teeny tiny. And then you want, oops, just some glue just near his eye, and just pop that on his eye, because, well, it's up to you. I didn't like him without an eye there. And then you can go ahead and stick him on. So you might need to add some more glue if you did what I just did then and didn't do that before, but I just thought he looked better with an eye. So there we go, my Birds and Branches Peekaboo card. You can write on here. I hope you've enjoyed making it. Take care. See you soon. Bye.